LorReign, my guest for the evening. You know exactly where you can find her at Lady LorReign, LadyLorReign. Links to all of her social media are in the episode description below. Please make sure you support content creators that come on this show. Otherwise, they don't come on the show anymore. LorReign, it's a pleasure to have you on tonight.
Well, thank you for having me.
So let me start with the boring question, the one we always start with and begin with, and it just, sets the stage for where we go from there. Can I ask you how you decided to get into the adult entertainment industry in whatever form it was? Whether it was OF first, whether it was camming, whether you went right into shooting scenes, whether it was stripping, I have no idea. Anything where you go, this is a normal job and I don't want to do this anymore. Let's try this now.
But it's kind of interesting because I did have a very wonderful, solid job for a very long time, a 21-year career. And we met some financial hardships. I mean, the economy really impacted my family. My husband and I don't mind talking about my husband at all, but it was a huge impact on us. Our home sustained a lot of damage in a huge storm. And overall, it was the decision to enter the adult industry really was financially motivated for us. And I say us because it was a decision between the two of us. I knew I was taking a chance. I never had any socials. I didn't have any paid media. I didn't have anything like that. So I decided to start in mainstream. And it was awesome. I did a couple of videos and it was pretty interesting. That was in September of 2024. And then by November of 2024, I ended up in one of the top trending positions, and I was shocked. So at that time, I realized that I should probably separate from my regular 9 to 5. And I didn't do it in quite enough time before I was discovered, but it all works out.
Sure.
And I think for me, I really started backwards. I really did start in mainstream. And the majority of all of my work in the adult industry has been mainstream shoots. So I started, an OnlyFans site at the end of December, I think, but I didn't really hit it hard until this year because this whole content creation, even now, it's look at the date. I'm still struggling. I'm still trying to learn this whole thing. So I look for any assistance that I can get. But I
always ask when women come into this industry, I want to know what percentage of it you thought coming into the industry, no expectation. You're like, I'm going to go shoot mainstream porn now. What percentage did you think was having sex with people on camera? And what percentage did you think was social media? And then did that just completely flip on its fucking head once you really got into it?
I was like, wait a second. It's pretty interesting. I think that it really is up to the creators and how much focus they want to put on that content creation. I think if you're rolling and you're full steam ahead in the mainstream aspect of it, you can absolutely continue with that. But it's a pay for and then it's finished. There isn't any typerization for me. Was in order to maintain getting caught up on the bills, but then maintaining the bills, I needed some sort of residual. So that's when I reached out to other creators. I reached out to friends that I had that I knew who were creators, and I got a lot of guidance and assistance from them. They've been a huge support.
Go ahead. I apologize. I'm sorry. I do a secondary show where I interview new people coming into the industry. And yes. I've hit a string of people recently of girls getting in who are kind of like not interested in OnlyFans. They're like, I don't want to do OnlyFans. I don't care about that. I just want to shoot mainstream stuff. And I'm trying to explain to them. I get it. I totally do. But I try and explain to them too. What they don't realize is the mainstream stuff is a great advertisement for your OF, right?
Huge promotional opportunities right there.
Sure. So
absolutely.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. And no, you're good. But you're exactly right. And that would be one thing that I would want to share with everyone, that it has been a learning process for me, for sure. it's hard for me to say I'm a content creator because I do not measure up to the effort that all of those talents put into being successful in that content creation. Not yet. I hope to get there. I'm learning. I'll keep working hard for it. But if they can understand that there is that residual income and there is that support, I think would be a good way to say from those, the OnlyFans, the paid site, that kind of thing. It certainly is beneficial. I think going back to your question, I think for me, realizing how much time and effort it takes to put in into these paid sites is it was pretty monumental for me. It was eye-opening. It has been.
Sure. From the ignorant outside perspective, by the way, I talk with my hands a lot. I'm not Italian either. So from the outside perspective, the ignorant public, and that's not these listeners, obviously, they're really smart. The outside public will be like, oh, LorReign just, shows up on set, has sex with some guys, goes home and her job's done, blah, blah, blah. It's like you're a model, you're an actress, you're a social media manager, you're doing back office work to figure out all the admin paperwork, blah, 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 blah. I almost would rather just go to a 9 to 5. I don't know. But, yeah. So, yeah, let me dive into something real quick there. You mentioned your husband early on, and, I've also hit a string of interviews recently of people into the lifestyle. Would you be comfortable me asking a couple questions about that? And if anything delves too far, tell me, we're not going to talk about it.
Absolutely. Sure.
Okay. What are the dynamics of your relationship lifestyle? Is it you can have as much as you want, he can have as much as he wants? Does he prefer to watch? Does he like the humiliation? I'll run through all of it, but you tell me, what do you think your dynamics are in your relationship?
So it's quite interesting. I think that we tend to be a little different than others. We were actually best friends prior to getting together. So, the things that you may discuss with a potential partner or someone you're dating, we far surpassed that long before because we were friends. I told him things you would never tell a prospective partner and vice versa. If he was seeing a girl, he's like, you'll never guess what we did last night. I'm like, God dang, that's hot. I love that shit. I think it's awesome. Right. And I'm like, good for you, bud. So then when it finally evolved and we decided to take that step to get together, we had already passed that whole unknown of each other and trying to get to know each other. We already knew. So we hit our 30s and neither one of us had ever partied, never been to the bars, never been to the clubs, nothing like that. But in our 30s, we're like, you know what? Let's do this together. And we started to have a lot of fun. We would go to the clubs. We would do, and I'm just talking about vanilla clubs. And it was fun for him when I would have gentlemen come up to me and say, hey, I'll buy you a drink. And I'm like, yeah, it was fun for him to watch flirting and that kind of thing. And from there, we are totally 100% honest and transparent with each other. There's no secrets. There's no anything with he and I. And, we both expressed to one another that, hey, it'd be fun if we go just meet others, just kind of experience things, because neither one of us had a great deal of experience besides our prior partners before each other. So, and that's kind of how that started with us. So our dynamic, I think, is a little different than a lot of couples who live in that lifestyle. We started first watching swingers couples and we were like, "Ooh, that's fucking amazing," right? And then I just took the leap one day and I said, "Let's do it. I want to play." And it turned out to be such a fucking turn on for both of us.
So let me ask this then, kind of piggybacking off of that. You guys decided to jump in and you were friends and this and that. Did you have rules set up? And then I have a follow-up to that.
Yeah, I love that question because he and I were the ones who probably had the least rules ever. I can't think of any rules that we had. So if he wanted to play, he played, I played, we played together. He'd play with me when I was playing. We didn't have a lot of rules, but we always respected others' rules and boundaries, but, and then what's your follow-up to that?
My follow-up, well, your relationship is too healthy and clean and everything for me to make this a follow-up make sense. But I was going to ask, do you have any rules that eventually got brushed aside, where it's maybe you're in action and there's a rule, oh, don't lick her there, and everyone's charged up and you look at your husband and he just goes, yep, go ahead, and then boom, and then everyone loves it and enjoys it? Were there any things that were kind of, let's push that line and then, fuck it, let's just cross it?
For us, going back, there really wasn't. Okay. We have not experienced that. We've witnessed that repeatedly. We've witnessed it. Really? And then that's when we made the decision to back away from that whole situation or whatever was going on. But for he and I, there really are no boundaries or rules between the two of us. We have met up with couples who are like, you can't hold her hand. You can't do this. Don't kiss her on the mouth. You can't do this with him. And we, again, respect that, but we just don't have that with us. I mean, if it's going with the flow and he's enjoying himself, that's what turns me on. That's what I love. Sure. And I think it's the same for him. So.
Okay. All right. Did you ever, you or your husband, accidentally break a rule, someone else's rule, and you had to apologize? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to kiss you on the mouth, or I didn't mean to. No, you've never been like chastised in a thing? Okay.
No, we've been very fortunate. I think we're both very conscientious about others. And, I think for it to be healthy and to be happy and to remain fun, you really have to be conscientious of others' boundaries and, how you're going to proceed with that. So
sure. Okay. Makes sense. Last question about lifestyle stuff. And this one is just purely born from my insecurity in my own self. Have either one of you ever had to, quote unquote, take one for the team? Meaning maybe there's a couple, they're interested in you. He's very interested in the girl. You not necessarily into the guy, or vice versa. Has anyone ever had to take one?
So, okay, now that you're saying that, it's not a rule for us, but it's a recognition for us. So in the event that we are in a situation, say, the male partner is into me and I'm into everyone. So, but the male partner is into me, but she may not be into my husband, then that was for me a deal breaker. You know what I mean? I want him to enjoy as well. I want them to enjoy. There should never be anybody taking one for the team, in my opinion, in both of our opinion. That's kind of how we've progressed through.
Okay.
So.
All right. See, I always think I would be the one who would be taken for the team. So I just go, well, I don't want to be too offended by that. Like, I can imagine my wife and I going to something and a woman looking at me and going, ugh, never mind.
Dear. Yeah. Then I don't want anyone to feel that way. I mean, I have seen it. Obviously we have experienced that where, and it's most generally, she's like, I don't know, you can if you want, to my husband. And to me, that isn't, that's not fun for her. It certainly isn't fun for him. And then I lose all fun at that point. So,
yeah, I could see myself getting turned off if some guy kind of like looked up my wife and was like, you can just fuck my wife. I'd be like, no, how about you eat shit, buddy? Get out of here.
Yeah, there you go. And you guys go on, have fun, and then find somebody that you really like.
Yeah.
And that is the most wonderful thing about the lifestyle that I have, that I'll say I, because he isn't here, but that I have experienced is, we have very few poor experiences. And maybe it is because of the recognition of boundaries, or, we're not willing to take one for the team. It should be a good, wholesome, fun time for everybody.
Okay. Oh yeah, I think that it's sex. It's supposed to be like one of the best things in the world. If someone's bummed out in the middle of it.
Absolutely. There's no way to make, you can't recover from that.
No. So let me go ahead. I apologize. What was that?
Oh, you're okay. I was going to say that is one thing about the lifestyle. It is all physical pleasure. I mean, I'm talking from my perspective, but for me, there's not a huge emotional tie. I don't need the emotions involved. And I know people are like, well, I have to have an emotional connection to have a sexual experience. But for me, the physical aspect, and if there's chemistry, it's 10 times better. But honestly, it's just fun. It's physically fun.
Physically fun, mentally stimulating, I assume, where it's very a turn on to watch this stuff, even if you're not involved. But you said emotionally you don't have to be involved. is it that you're not emotionally involved, or is it that you're able to compartmentalize your emotion where just in this moment, I'm having a good time. This guy's great, big dick, nice guy, good looking, da 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 da. And then afterwards, almost like actors and actresses who kind of, I'm not saying you have a crush on any of these guys, but in the moment, a lot of times when actors and actresses on Hollywood movies are, playing a couple, they'll start to develop a little bit of a flirt, a little bit of a, I could see myself with this person, and then it's over at the end of it. Is there any of that in there?
Not for me personally. Okay. I think maybe there's a couple times when there was really good chemistry with a male talent or a partner that I had. And then we'll just meet up again, and then meet up again or whatever we choose to do. But for me, I would never want to change anything about my life to go be with that person.
Gotcha.
And I think that's the difference.
Gotcha. Okay. Let me dive into the content a little bit. Can I ask, who was your first shoot with? Do you remember who it was?
Absolutely. So my first shoot ever mainstream.
Sure.
Is that what you mean?
Yes.
It was Tyler Nixon. I was working with Hot Mills Fuck. Okay. And I'm telling you, they have it to a T to make you feel comfortable and absolutely introduce you to this industry. If you ask me, that's my opinion. I mean, what they did for me, they put me at ease. They had, they go through the process because I was really shocked. I don't know what my preconceived notions were about the adult industry at the time. But I get flown to this location and then I show up and they take your bag in and they're like, hey, you got hair and makeup waiting. And I'm like, oh, really? That was cool. So then they bring you in. Well, now we need paperwork. We do this. We want to ensure that you're safe. And I mean, it was just incredible to me. I was like, this is a business. This is professional. And it truly was in their best interest to ensure that I was well informed. I was 100% consensual with everything, which is huge, right? And they just did an incredible job. So, but it was my first partner was Tyler Nixon, who is very well, he's very well versed and he works a lot with new people. And I think it was just a really good matchup.
I've never met Tyler, but I have heard that same thing from a lot of women, that he just kind of makes things comfortable and easy, and especially if you're just getting into it for the first time. Has there been anything that you didn't know you were into until you got into porn? I mean, it's tough because I assume you in the swinger lifestyle, you had tried and experienced a whole lot of new things. But is there anything that maybe you were a little skittish on or unsure of that when you finally got on set and it happened, you were like, oh yeah, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah. And that's true. So anal, that whole taboo anal thing, holy shit, that's the only thing that everybody wants. I mean, even to this day, my fans are like, why don't you have more anal? I'm like, when was the last time you took it? But I don't say that. But I think for me, the whole, I had a fear of it because I had only had good experiences with my husband, but we worked through it. It took us time. We understood what needed to be done for he and I for it to be comfortable and happy. So it was actually 1, 2, 3. It was very early on. I was approached by another mainstream company. I worked with the Score Group. I did 4 scenes with the Score Group, and they said we would like to do a boy-girl anal. And I was like, oh gosh, I was so worried about it. I'm like, holy shit, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to prep for it, all these things. So again, I reached out to resources. They were amazing. Everybody that I have had contact with in the industry is more than willing to help you. So they said, well, to prep for something like this is what you do. So I did it. And I went and I shot the scene, and this was with Barry McCockner. So that would have been my very first on-screen anal scene. And I'm telling you, everybody there, our director, and I could tell you everybody's names, but as I remember, they made such an impression on me. But it was wonderful. It worked out perfect. I had no and it didn't hurt. It was great. I was like, holy shit, this might be something new for me. And from there, I have had the ability to progress all the way up to DP. So, but I can't. Yeah, that one's coming. It's my secret.
Okay. All right. We won't talk about where it is because it's coming, but maybe a question or two about that. First, let me do a thing I like to do called stat check. So let me start with this and tell you that these numbers are completely and entirely wrong. They are from the Internet Adult Film Database, and basically what it does is it tracks mainstream scenes, it tracks certain ManyVid scenes, it does this, that, I don't know. It's not great, but it's the best resource we have. So I'm going to give you your stats where you are now, and then a year from now, when you come back on the show, you'll be covered in AVN awards, and, you know, these numbers will seem childish. For the number of scenes I have for you, now these are all wrong, because every girl I've ever told this to, these are all going to be wrong at the end. They always go, those aren't right. I go, no, I know. Number of scenes I have for you is 8. Number of guys you've worked with is 6. Number of girls you've worked with is 1. 0 noms for the AVN Awards and 0 wins so far. Is that accurate? 6 guys, you seem like you can still get into heaven with that. So,
oh dear, I have so much to tell you. No, yeah, the numbers are not quite right there.
Sure.
I am almost up to 20 pro scenes.
Okay.
Yeah, and quite honestly, I have not tried to count the number of partners that I've had on the pro scenes. They are correct. In the pro shoots, I do only have 1 female partner, and that was with Hot Mills Fuck. It was the second scene that I did with them. Yeah, second scene I did with them, and then I did a third with them, which was anal. But I have certainly had many more than 6 male partners.
Well, the Pope's very disappointed by that, but that's okay.
I'm not worried. They forgive and forget, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So let me ask, as you ramp this stuff up, do you have desires do you shoot any of your own content currently for like your OnlyFans? And what kind of style is it? Is it, hey, this is LorReign at home. This is me just chilling. This is, good time. Look at me. I'm naked. I'm this. Is it like a monthly big production? Where are we at? And where do we plan to go?
So it's pretty interesting. I've learned a great deal. And again, reaching out and meeting the other talent in the industry has really, really helped me understand where to go from there. So initially, I started with a Traveling Hot Wife series because it's super easy for me. It's real. Everything that I have done in the adult industry, I've already experienced in my personal life. So it's easy. It was an easy transition. So as far as my content goes, that is probably my biggest go-to is the Traveling Hot Wife. Okay. It was fun because years ago I would travel for work and I'm away from my husband. So I would meet a fellow or a lady that was interested in them, and then I call them and say, "Hey, I found this hot dude." I mean, it's real. I mean, that's really what happened. I'd bring them back, and it depended upon their comfort level. But he would either listen on the phone or we would video or whatever. And so I have brought that into my content creation because it's so natural. It's so easy. And my male talent has been amazing. They love the idea. So there is the Traveling Hot Wife series. There are some that it is just full on. We get there and we're like, boom, it's time to work. And we do. But it's a good work, right? We all have fun. I think overall, I'm not very good with solos. I need to do more solos, but I'm learning that. Again, it's all new. I think that's the thing that I'm most shy about is masturbation.
So I was funny.
I'm like, see, I laugh like a child when I say it, for God's sake. I'm like, DP my ass tonight, but masturbate, I can't say it.
That's so fun. I was just going to say that. I was going to say, in doing research for this, I pulled up some of the most graphic pictures I've ever seen. Beautiful, by the way. And now now LorReign's on here going, I don't like necessarily talking about diddling myself. I go, oh, well, she's... Yeah.
Exactly.
What is it about that's tough for you? Because here's my thing. When I see like JOI videos or whatever all the other ones, the talky ones are, I look at it and I go, if I were in that girl's shoes or that whatever shoes, I would have about 60 seconds of dirty talk. And then I'd be like, I hope you didn't pay for 5 minutes. This is all I got. Take a look at the tits, you know? What part of like the solo stuff is hard for you?
Okay, so between you and I, and everyone out there, I did not masturbate until I was probably 33 or 34 years old. And it was through the encouragement of just being comfortable with my husband. Honestly, he's like, you can do this. Just try it. I'm like, no. And first, I don't know if it's like an ingrained thing or whatever, but I never did. I never tried it. And so I think for me that process is still new. It's not been very long, and it was not anything that I did frequently because I have partners to satisfy me or whatever. So yes, that's kind of where it's at with that.
Wow. Can I ask why did it take so long for you to get into it? I mean, I was in like 4th grade.
Exactly. And I think most people are. And they're like, wait, what? And I haven't expressed that a great deal. My first solo scene on a pro shoot, I was like, I swear to you, I don't even know what to call it. I had to have been so awkward. I'm sure people have seen it. Hopefully it doesn't look awkward. But to me, I'm like, I don't even know what to do right now. I don't know where to go with this. But yeah, I think it was just I never had a level of comfort with myself to do that. And there were times, yeah, you feel horny, but you're like, okay, either it passes or you find somebody, right? That's kind of where I was at.
Okay, interesting. Uh, as your career progresses and you get invited or hired for more shoots, eventually offers will come that you don't like. So I used to call this I used to call this little thing I'm doing here SAC. And what that stands for is shit, animals, and kids. I called it that because I would ask women this question, and the answer I would inevitably get back would be something like, well, I wouldn't do that, like something horrible. And I would go, no, I know there's no dogs involved. We don't want that. Right. What I'm asking is something that is within the realm of normal in the adult entertainment industry. What is something you just have no interest in pursuing? They come to you and say, here's the offer, LorReign. It's a big site, big name. You'll be working with great people. And you're still just like, ugh, not my thing.
No. Yes. So anything related to degradation, and this has happened. And I think that's one thing they put out there and let everyone know is if you are not comfortable with it, you can absolutely say no. And I have, and it was shocking to some of the producers. But there was a site that contacted me and he said, okay, so I have 6 different brands, and I was intending on working for the one brand. And he said, oh no, you're brand new. So you're going to start with this brand. And I said, well, I'll look into it, and so I reviewed the website and it was absolutely so degrading. And I know this is some people's thing and that's okay, but it's not for me. It got to the point where these girls were being forced to vomit because of the actions that were taken. And I am not subjecting myself to that, and I won't. And I told him no. And he said, well, you can't tell me no, you're just starting. And I said, I absolutely can. And he goes, well, I will blacklist you. And I said, I highly doubt you have the clout in this entire industry to blacklist me. And if you do, then good for you. But I want people to know that you can say no.
Yeah,
sorry.
I will ask you when we're done recording, but is this not person necessarily, but is this group of sites kind of known as a problem now that you've been in it a little bit longer?
Yes, and I have found that unfortunately a lot of ladies did not feel that they had the opportunity to say no to this site, and they sucked it up and they're like, yeah, I got through it and I got past it. I'm like, well, it's unfortunate you had to deal with that.
I'm thinking of 1 or 2. We'll talk. I understand. You don't have to, but yeah. So that is a great point, and that I try and relay that to a lot of the newer girls I interview, where it's like, hey, this is a job at the end of the day. It's fun. It should be so fun. You show up, you sign paper, like you just said about your Tyler Nixon shoot. You show up, you sign your papers, you get your makeup done, you have sex, you go home. It's great. Right?
Oh, that's wonderful. I've not had one bad day at work. Not one.
Oh, I have nothing but bad days at work. It's strange.
You stop.
But this is fun. This isn't work. This is fun. Okay, I like this. Good. This is good. This is good. Don't get me wrong. So, all right. So no degradation. Let me ask you, how about degradation going the other way? Have you ever felt yourself as kind of a dom? You seem too sweet, but maybe I'm wrong.
No, you're probably going to be shocked, but I have been doing dom work for the last 3 years.
Wow.
Just totally under the radar. Yes. And, I think I'm kind of more of maybe a soft dom is what they call it. I really want to get in tune with what my submissive wants, because I think that makes the experience better for both of us. There's a lot of communication, and I know a lot of folks in that position. They like to be submissive, obviously, and the humiliation and degradation. Degradation's hard for me to even give out. So I focus more with them on what would get them other than, I never tell them it's wrong because it certainly isn't. It is something that really turns on a lot of people, and that's awesome. But for me, it's hard to deliver it. So, um, I just, will find a different focus when
Sure.
it comes to that.
Okay. All right.
And that is another thing that I've learned in the adult industry is there are two separate entities. You have your fetish world, you have your kinks, and then you have your adult world.
Sure.
And they are quite different. So.
There's a third layer that is still legal, but not as good, I'm realizing, because I recently clicked on someone's link tree for whatever. I had interviewed them as a newer model, and I looked and they had this whole thing that was like OnlyFans, but it was like shit that OnlyFans won't let you post. And nothing illegal, but as disgusting as you can get. And I look at it initially and I'm like, I'm not into that at all. I think it's terrible. Not terrible that they're doing it, just like, I don't want to see that. I'm not interested. And then it sits on you and you go, someone does. This girl did want to do this thing, right? Because like you said about the side, I also can't get into the puking and the, you're a dumb whore, blah, 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 blah. I'm just not into that stuff.
Yeah.
But the girls are into it if they were positive and not one of the ones, like you said, where they couldn't say no, unfortunately. And people do want to watch that. So who is it on me to say, it's not good or it's not whatever? I don't know. There was no point to that question. I was just ranting because I clicked on something the other day.
Though.
Yeah.
It's good to get out there, though, because I think you're exactly right. I certainly am very open-minded for all kinks, fetishes, anything for anybody out there. Again, like you said, I have certain boundaries, and I think that we all do. So as long as others can have the ability to respect that, then I think that's where we're all successful,
Totally. Makes sense. So your OnlyFans, because we're not necessarily great at solos, do you do custom videos yet? Is that something you're working up to?
I do custom videos. I actually do quite a few custom videos. It's died off the last month or so. But I'll do customs. And at this point, for me, the solo stuff is not as uncomfortable as it was. And with the solo, obviously, they kind of guide you. They'll give you the content that they want. They'll give you the baseline of what they're looking for. And I also do live video chats, which is one of the things that I love the most because I have that interaction with that individual and I can see that they're being pleased or, I'm catering to what they want and I am a pleaser. I enjoy that.
Okay. All right. Let me ask, has anyone been like a mentor to you or a guiding light? Any of the other girls in the industry or guys? You said you knew some content creators when you first started getting into it or ramping up or making it full time. Who's been like, this person's been really great for me?
I don't know if I should say their names. I don't know.
Wow.
They're incredible people for sure.
Totally. But why wouldn't we want to? Not like their legal names, right? You're not giving me social security numbers.
They're stage names, but they're private individuals also. Well, I can tell you one of my greatest guides in the beginning, and we're gonna have to ask him before we put it all out there. I'll ask him, make sure it's okay. But Shane Diesel has been an excellent guide for me. Just from the beginning, at a friend level. He's obviously been in the industry for quite a long time, and he is the one who guided me to understand the importance of that residual income from these paid sites and the content creation. Because I'm like, I don't ever want to do that. I was that girl. I'm like, I'm just going to do shoots all the time. Well, they don't always come in. So he's been a great guide about the emotional health, mental health, everything. He is just, he's been incredible. And I would say I think who has touched me the most is probably Miss Sienna Ray. Okay. We've had an opportunity to talk a great deal. We were actually in a content house together. That's how we met. And then we ended up working together, which has been great. And she's just been an excellent resource. She's a great support, a great guide. And she's my friend as well. So
that's nice. From it's crazy because from the outside, my ignorant misogynism would be like, oh, porn industry, all the women are at each other's throats and they're fighting for this and that. But it doesn't seem like that at all.
I haven't experienced that at all. I haven't, but I was expecting the same thing, the whole competition. And that's one thing about me. I had a 21-year career in a male-led industry, right? Mm-hmm. I am not that woman who is going to compete with another woman. I refuse to. My job is to build them up and to empower them. I want to empower everyone. I want them to be as much as they can possibly be, everything they want to be, everything they want to do. And that was my goal in life, and it has bled over into this industry. So I don't have it in me to be competitive with other ladies. I don't. And if there is competition on their side, I'll see it, I recognize it, and I'll allow that for them. That's important for them to have that and that feeling and that competitive nature, because that's how they'll succeed. But for me, I don't need it. Gotcha. I don't want that.
Gotcha. Yeah. Some of the interviews I've done, I've talked to, apparently strip clubs are not as nice as porn star Twitter. I hear a lot of infighting behind the scenes and this and that. And I'm wondering if it's just that it's I was going to say target, but target sounds like the absolute worst word. The person they're trying to extract money from is in there in person. You don't know if another guy's going to walk through. Right. You don't know if another guy's going to walk through the door today. You don't know if you're going to have a chance. So I understand the desire to let's capitalize on this. This is still a business. But in the adult entertainment film industry, I mean, there's a guy who likes every type of body, every type of look, every type of fetish. There is a market for it. So when people try and figure their thing out too, I always just say, hey, be yourself, and like someone will find you and love you and touch their dicks to you.
Absolutely. And that's what we love, right? Yeah. That's my goal. To make people happy.
So let's jump into the future real quick. Where do we see this going? Is this a career for you now? Is this we'll keep doing this until it's not fun? Is this, we're going to see LorReign as an 81-year-old GILF on a DVD cover? Probably not a DVD cover, but you know what I mean. Where are we going with this, and where do you want to go with this?
And that's an interesting question that I've thought a lot about lately. Right now, I am having an excellent time, but I'm also real in my mind. I'm realistic. I understand that this will fade. I'm not going to be able to continue to maintain what folks enjoy as Lady LorReign right now. So I'm looking ahead. I want to continue performing and doing everything in content creation until it gets to a point where I notice that it's like, maybe this GILF is not the it. But fortunately, I have other skills. I would love to move into a mentoring type of position, or, guide, mentor. I wouldn't mind. I don't know anything about agencies, and I don't have an agent. But if I were to look ahead, I would probably move into more of an admin talent type recruiter and help guide the talent, males, females, it doesn't matter, on the right path, and let them know you do have the opportunity to say no, because I've heard that a lot, that these ladies and gentlemen as well, they don't say no. No, this is something that you need to understand, that it's your choice. But I have been a coordinator for events for the last 15 years, so setting up events, holding huge events, and just getting exposure for others, learning the whole networking aspect of everything, I think is where I personally would like to lead to. And will I still perform every now and then? Absolutely, if someone wants me. Sure. And I don't see myself as the 80-year-old gift, but I have met some recently, and they fucking kick ass, and I love them.
I recently interviewed Dee Dee White, who was formerly Seika Black. Oh, yeah?
Yes, I love
Yo, she is awesome. I didn't want to. I implied it on the show, but I'm not gonna. I don't think I'm gonna live as long as she is, and she's still out there throwing it around, man. She's great.
Sally D'Angelo, those ladies, they are so fun. They are just something else. I'm telling you, but they love cock. They love it, and that's what's important, right? I mean, sure. they're enjoying it every second. So,
well. Mentioning DD White, I only asked this because I saw you say this on a different interview, and I find it interesting. Not that, all positive. I just find it interesting. Do you prefer working with black men, or has that been what's come up?
That you say that. I'm glad that you brought that up because it's brought up all the time. So for me, it's not a preference. I love people, men, women, all races, shapes, and sizes, But in a lot of cases for the pro shoot, I'm not choosing my male talent. Sometimes I don't meet them until an hour before we shoot the scene. So, and even in the personal content creation, it's just something that if I click with the individual or they contact me and we're able to set it up. But quite honestly, it's weird. The whole race BVC thing has never even crossed my mind. But it's been brought up a lot.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I guess, I've had discussions with other girls where it's almost like there are some white performers who are very much like, get the term interracial out of porn. We don't want it, blah, 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 blah. And I've talked to black performers who are like, I don't care about race play. Call me whatever you want. We're shooting a scene. We're doing a movie. Mm-hmm. So it's always strange how it's dynamic and changing. And does this matter? Does this not matter? I just asked because we mentioned DD White, and DD White let me know specifically. She's like, black guys only is what I'm into. So she was so funny. It was great. It was great. All right, LorReign, I don't have much else for you here other than just to really thank you for coming on, and I hope your career progresses because you have just such a positive spirit to you. And I'm sorry if that sounds corny and stupid, but it's like I can feel the positivity coming off of you. And I really hope it translates to even more success. You know exactly where you can find LorReign at Lady LorReign, LadyLorReign. Links to everything in the episode description. And LorReign, let's check in with you like a year from now, and you'll still be like, oh, I love this. It's so great, blah, 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 blah. But I bet you'll have like 6 new things where you're like, I don't do that shit. I don't like that shit.
We'll see. That's so exciting just to get to that point to be like, oh, hell no, I'm not doing
that. Sure. LorReign, thank you so much for coming on with me tonight.
Oh, you're amazing. And thank you so much for having me.